The dragon Parthamax in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is voiced by the same man who voices Nintendo's Mario, Charles Martinet. Yahoo!
I'm pretty sure it's Martinet, but it's fine.
I'm a stupid American, what can I say? Welcome back to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Alex, joined by my co-host and top 3 Rogue Company wannabe, Ralph.
Yo, what's good?
So, I was thinking, do we just continue like nothing happened? Do we actually address the elephant in the room? What are you feeling here? What are you feeling?
I don't know, man. We've been doing this like weekly for ever.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
I already know.
There's no gaps whatsoever, so we're good to go, dude.
Well, I mean, I feel we owe our listener.
Is
we have
it B-Wall? The one.
Hey, B-Wall, how's it going, man? Yeah, so I think the last episode we just talked about this was like last April 2021, which back then, shitty times. And now,
it's
somehow,
worse.
shitty times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to reflect about. But, life happened. Obviously the world opened up a little bit, and now there's like something called monkeypox.
Oh god.
So, yeah, we back at it for not even round 2, like round 15 or something.
There's a global war?
Yeah.
That's a fun time.
There's a lot going on, which, that'll actually come up later in the...
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
maybe,
no.
In a cheerful-ish way, as it can be, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we're back, and I mean, I don't want to say, like, yeah, we'll always be doing this every week, but that's definitely, like, what we're going to try to do. I just don't want to, like, set up the pretense or, like, promise and not deliver on it. But, like, we miss this, like, we're, like... I don't know. We're feeling right now like on the drive over, even in the traffic, I wasn't as mad as I normally am. Just like honking my horn. Actually, I don't remember the last time I used my horn like maliciously while I was driving.
I mean, you don't need to use it maliciously. You just let them know, hey, I don't know why you're like slapping on your horn.
There's definitely those people. I don't know. I feel like everyone has like that friend who's like the road rager. Or like just in Chicago in general, like, oh, it's green for 0.5 seconds and you haven't started accelerating. Let me introduce you to my car horn.
Oh my god. Man, I miss this. Yeah, it's like a nice warm blanket, I mean, just very comfortable.
A nice weighted blanket.
Yeah,
a nice 2 p.m. nap.
Oh, man, I miss those.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels good to be back just talking about, honestly, our lives and, obviously... circling back to gaming whenever we find ourselves in these tangents.
I'll be real, dude.
Yeah,
I don't even know what's happened so far. I got married. That's like a weird thing.
Oh yeah, back to I bought a house.
Yeah, Alex bought a house.
Yeah, it's cool.
I got a new job. Alex works in video games now.
Yeah, I think like for the first like 2 episodes, like after I started at Zynga. We were doing the show, but then like we stopped right after.
Were you already at Zynga when we were doing the podcast?
Yeah, because I started March last year, and I think our last episode was last April.
We're back at it, baby.
We're back at a year in the industry. Ralph is seasoned. That salt and pepper mix perfectly in the industry.
It's kind of crazy. I was looking at my LinkedIn the other day, and I was at Wargaming for almost 4 years.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
time is really flying.
Yeah, and I have a new gig. I work at High Res Studios now.
Mm-hmm. Woo woo.
Yeah, 6 months. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, that flew by.
Yeah,
that flew by fast.
Like it's kind of nuts. Like 4.5 years essentially in games.
Man,
how crazy is that?
I know. I'm really excited. Where you'll be in the next 4.5 years, where I'll be in the next year. But hey, the listeners will be there, right? The listener will be he will be right alongside us. So that's, we don't need to clamor on about that too much. But yeah, it's good to be back and talk about everything gaming as we do. So today we're kicking off episode 30, or like, I don't know, episode 1 version 2, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because I kept this part of the run of show from what you had last year. You said, episode 30, the age where Ralph and Alex turned 30.
No!
And I'm like, Ralph,
I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm 30
now.
I turned 29 though. What do you? Don't lump me in with you. But yeah, let's talk about what games have been keeping us busy. We've been, I don't know. I don't want to say like we haven't really been playing games, but
I feel like we've been playing games a lot. Granted, it's
yeah,
not
it's
like
different, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what was like the talk of the town, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like this is the game that like totally took over. It took over like personally my life. And I think I've been using this a lot. Like we always say is like, you know, a mark of a game is good when time just is non-existent.
Yeah.
Like you blink and it's like 3 hours later. I'm gonna further that same and say a game is also really good when you're done playing and you immediately think of when the next time you're going to be able to play that game is. Because that happened to me so much with Elden Ring. It'd be like a Monday night, like midnight when I'm done. I'm like, okay, tomorrow should be a pretty light day. Like, I'm totally going to start playing like right after work.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the other mark of a good game is that once you beat it, you're just upset. You know what I mean? Like, every time I like play a very good game, one thing that always happens is for some reason I always look up on the internet games like Elden Ring. What should I play after Elden Ring? And there's just never, especially for this game, I think Elden Ring is one of those games that kind of push the genre forward.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny because I was a little bit colder on Elden Ring when I first started, and Alex was like 100% into the game.
Yeah, what's interesting, and I feel like by the time like we both platinumed it, which actually wasn't that hard.
What a flex! Like, yeah, we've platinumed Elden Ring.
It wasn't that bad. I think I put in like 75 hours, only 75 hours for the platinum. But like prior to like playing the game, like you were like, yeah, like I might play it,
yeah,
maybe, and I was like full sail.
Well, because I was playing Horizon Forbidden West before it, and I knew that if I didn't beat Horizon before I jumped into Elden Ring,
I forgot. Did you?
Yeah, of course. Okay. I'm actually planning on jumping into Horizon soon because of that new PlayStation stuff, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. But what do you call it? I was just it's Damon Hatfield's fault from IGN. He just kept on saying how hard Elden Ring was. He said that he grinded for like...
Oh my god,
I remember. He said he grinded for like 20 hours and couldn't beat the first boss.
Right.
And I'm like...
Like Margit.
Right, so in my head, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He grinded for 20 hours, he couldn't beat the first boss. I'm like, I don't know about this.
Right, and you for like a couple days, like you kept telling me that. I'm like, dude, it's... Like it's hard, sure, but like it's really not as hard as Damon's making out to be. And I remember I was here at your place when you beat that boss. I think you two-shot him, like on your second try you beat him. And your first death was hilarious. Like he knocked you off the edge and some like BS.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a real death. But literally after I beat Margit, I was like, man, Damon's a bitch.
Oh my god. He's like one of my personal heroes in the industry, but like that yeah. But what's funny is because and Damon Hatfield's a part of IGN's Game Scoop podcast, which we're both a fan of. So
by the way, this is never gonna happen if Damon Hatfield ever listens to this podcast, which is not gonna happen. I'm totally joking.
Right. But he's come totally like 180 on the game too, which is awesome.
Yeah, he said that it's like his top 5 games.
He said it's his contender for game of the year.
Yeah.
Which at this moment, definitely my game of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of games that come out this year.
Half a year is left. There's a lot, which we'll talk about the PlayStation showcase.
I would say Elden Ring so far is my game of the year, which sucks because Horizon was very good, but it didn't hit as hard as Elden Ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I do want to talk about, because Elden Ring is it's kind of aged at this point. It came out like late February, although people still kind of talk about it here and there. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that because we were playing it. But it's known to be the most accessible Souls game.
I thought Elden Ring was pretty easy, generally.
So what do you and when they say accessible, I've never seen like that definition like pushed towards like more clarity. Mm-hmm. So what do you think what they mean? Like, oh, this game is more accessible. Like, what does that mean to you?
I think one of the main reasons that I think people say Elden Ring is the most accessible, and I completely do agree with that. The game is still hard. Like let's not like kid anyone here. Like it's not a normal game. You should expect to die multiple times if you're not familiar. Yeah, if you're not familiar with that type of gameplay. The reason I think people say it's the most accessible is that in previous types of Souls games, if you're fighting a boss, that's it. Like you can't move past that boss. Like, there's nothing else you can do. Yeah, you can farm up souls, and yeah, you can farm up blood or whatever.
The farming spots are way more bountiful.
Right, but it's not even farming spots, right? Like, let's say you encounter a boss, like you encounter Margit, right? Mm-hmm. You don't need... If you can't fight Margit right now, you can just fight the smaller bosses in, like, thousands of other areas in the game and then come back and spank them later. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Metaphorically.
Right, but the difference is in other Souls games, like, yeah, you can go back to previous areas and maybe farm up some souls, but that's all you're doing. Like, you're not physically progressing your character, getting more gear, like, playing more bosses.
Yeah, there's a lot of side stuff too, right? Because this is an open world.
Yeah, so there's no wall that you need to overcome. If you can't overcome that wall, you can technically skip Margit.
Right. So what I find interesting is the open world aspect. Like, generally speaking, the open world aspect and the filled map that it is what makes it more accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, generally, I think like that's the consensus, which conversely or inversely, I find makes it harder for newcomers.
You think so?
I really do think so.
It definitely does get overwhelming because there's no,
you
like,
start
point
and then it's like,
yeah.
Okay, like, where do I go? Like, it's showing me to go here, but there's so much more to the map.
Sure.
And then for you and me, I feel like we were fine because, like, we play RPGs, JRPGs.
Right.
Like, we're like, sure, this is where the main line stuff is, but I'm going to complete all the side stuff because I want my character to be as strong as it can be. But for a lot of people who I was speaking with who aren't like, they're more like casual gamers, which is fine, professionally casual, if you will. There's so much here. Like, what do I do? And I just want to say, because I don't want to like hold their hands through the game. I just want to be like, just, explore the map organically. Whenever you feel strong enough, just proceed. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it's daunting.
I think that's one of the pitfalls of the game. However, with this type of game, I think people need to shift their perspectives of how games are made. And maybe that's like an excuse to, like, some people are like, oh, that's an excuse for game design or whatever. No, I genuinely think that when you play a Souls game, you need to shift your perspective a little. Not just about difficulty, not just about like direction. It's one thing that I've noticed with the Souls game, and especially with Elden Ring, it's a very communal game.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Correct. So, like, what I mean by communal game is that, yes, you can play it by yourself, but the experience of playing Elden Ring with the community, finding out where weapons are, finding out where things are in the world, is what makes it exciting. And so, like, yes, like, you can go into Elden Ring completely blind, and honestly, like, if you're gonna go to a boss immediately, you're gonna die, and that's probably you're not gonna have a good time. But, like, if you're a new player and you haven't played a Souls game before, you should jump into the Reddit, watch some YouTube videos, figure out some guides, because that'll give you a better understanding initially of how the game is played and what you're supposed to be looking out for, because it is very, like, deep and
there's
daunting.
A lot of mechanics,
right? And it's hidden, right? They don't explain it. They don't want to hold your hand.
Yeah,
their main,
or if it is explained, it's not in any sort of
it's all about discovery. And I think that's what leans into the communal aspect of the game, where you find a YouTuber, you find a Redditor that you trust, and like, oh, like, these are the things that I should probably do before I go into Margit. By the time you get to Margit, you're significantly more comfortable with how to progress throughout the game. The other thing that I think makes this game super accessible, there's bonfires everywhere.
Yeah, like save points, essentially.
Right, like, like, dying still sucks. So if people aren't familiar with how Souls games works, like, you build up a currency that allows you to level up, but when you die, you lose all that currency. You can pick it up, but if you die again, you lose it completely. In Elden Ring, honestly, like, it would suck if you died, but I didn't care if I died.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, genuinely how I felt, because as long as I was able to bank them immediately, and then I died losing 1,000 or 2,000 or, like, 20, like, at a certain point in the game, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, all around, And the cool thing is, like, they very easily could have just done Dark Souls 4 and, like, they would have been successful, but they really, like you said earlier, pushed the genre, really, really iterated on itself and created something really awesome that has been, like, on the hype train for, like, 3 or 4 years. And I don't remember the last time where there was a game that was, like, hyped up this much.
And it met expectations.
And, I mean, I think it, like, exceeded even expectations.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, like, this game, I think... like if this doesn't win Game of the Year, it'll be God of War Ragnarok probably. But like I think
Elden Ring will win.
I think it'll win it.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, I don't want us to spend too much time on Elden Ring and like love letter. But like before we move on, what was your favorite moment or what was your favorite part of Elden Ring?
Oh, hands down. And I remember how I felt immediately.
I am Melania, Blade of Mikula.
Oh, God, throwing my controller against the wall. Taking like the 90-second, the minute 30 elevator ride down to the Sophia's water, and then where there's like this giant like violet like indigo sky, and it's like my mouth just like dropped. I really can't do it justice just by talking. Like you need to see it, but that was when I was like, wow, you really just, like understand the scope of the game.
Yeah, no, that's totally. I love that too. I think for me. I think my favorite part of Elden Ring was when I went back and beat the Tree Sentinel. So like if people don't know, there's like at the start when you spawn in, like not even the fake boss, because they typically do a fake boss in Souls game that like kill you. Then there's another boss that just like spawn in front of your like beginning area that you're definitely not supposed to kill. Granted, Alex is so good that he beat it because he didn't want to move past. It took me like 2 hours though, so I'm really not that good. I'm just stubborn. Yeah, so like one thing that like made me feel really good was that when I kind of moved past the Tree Sentinel, I like beat the boss and I'm like, ooh, I'm coming back for you.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, so that was just that was one of those moments where I'm just like, this is a good game. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah, Tree Sentinel, I totally forgot. Yeah, that's hilarious. So Elden Ring, it's awesome. If you have played it, definitely drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts were on that. If you haven't, check it out. I think it's pretty cool. Multiverses, that's another game we've been playing a little bit. If you're unfamiliar with that is Warner Bros. WB's take on the platform fighting genre. Mm-hmm. We played a closed alpha. It was like a semi-closed alpha.
Yeah.
Like, so I got a code, and then they're like, "Here's 2 more." So then
that was like, perfect.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, B-Wall and Ralph, let's go."
Our one listener.
Yeah, B-Wall. Hey, you. Yeah. So yeah, we played that, and I don't know. So what are your thoughts on Multiverses?
It started out really weird for me. Like, I think I told you that. I've told you it felt like sluggish. But as we continued to play Multiverses, we realized, oh no, it's very fast.
It's really fast.
Right.
It's really fun.
Yeah. So I think we were just so used to playing it as if we were playing Smash.
Yeah.
But then as we figured out, you can just combo into everything.
Yeah, literally, like frame data like doesn't exist.
Yeah, so like
just keep going.
I realize how fast this game is. The stun locks in this game are nasty.
Yeah, especially because so the main gameplay difference between Multiverses and Smash is that Multiverses really leans into the 2v2 aspect.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Which is cool, yeah. So that's definitely where the main difference is. So it can get chaotic. Like there's always a lot going on the screen, which I think is fun. Especially if you do have like someone that you're like on voice comms with talking who's on your team. So I think you'll always see this, you'll always hear people say it, and I'm guilty of it too, just being like, why are they making this other platform fighter? Like literally just make Smash Bros on Xbox or PlayStation. And it's a really ignorant statement.
Yeah.
But like again, like I was totally guilty of it too. It's ignorant for a couple of reasons. One, we shouldn't want just the same game copy and pasted, because this isn't just like a fighter. Platform fighters is like, it's a new upcoming genre. So we wanted to evolve. It's like a subgenre of fighting games. Yeah. So we wanted to iterate and evolve, and we want these games to like have their own identity. 2, if a game really was just like a copy and paste Smash, but like was a little worse, that game would get like crucified on social media.
You'd be like,
wow,
Nicktoons All-Stars.
Yeah, like, they tried so hard to make like Smash. It's worse. Like no like creative integrity. Like why would we play this? We can just play Smash Bros. So it's natural and organic to compare it to Smash because that's the platform fighter everyone knows. It's the game that made the genre. I think that's a fair statement.
Right.
So comparisons are natural, but yeah, ultimately like, the game just needs to be good. Yeah. It can have its own identity, but like it needs to be polished, feel like it's, a really well-made game, which I'm excited for Multiverses.
Yeah. I think with Multiverses, I think what the special sauce for that game is actually the 2v2.
Tasty.
I think the 2v2 is the special sauce to that game because it adds a bit of strategy to it. Because like typically like when you do like a 2v2 versus like in Smash Brothers, like you can steal a stock, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it never feels I don't know how to phrase it, but it never feels meaningful when you do 2v2.
It mostly, in Smash 2v2s, it's just two separate one-on-ones.
Right.
On like the opposite sides of the map. Right.
Yeah, but in Multiverses, because you genuinely share a stock pool.
Oh,
and then,
so
right. you share a stock pool, and then like, one player might be better than the other, but then like Alex and I were playing this during the alpha. We were getting like beaten pretty hard.
We were getting bodied.
Right.
Teeth
But then when we do the 2v2, we're thinking that's the weaker player.
Get him.
Gang up on the weaker player. Yeah. So we would end up.
It was such a strat. It was
right.
Good.
Yeah. So like even though we were like probably genuinely worse than the other team, but because we had the foresight to just gang up on the weaker player, we won. It was great.
Yeah. And then before we move on, did you see the leaks for like the roster?
No, I did not.
So I'm following the subreddit, and the community is like very like happy with the game. They're so looking forward to it. Like really low like toxicity, which is weird.
I mean, wait.
Yeah, right.
Just wait.
Yeah, that's true. But the leaks seem like crazy. Like LeBron James.
No way.
You're just forgetting like how much stuff WB has. Like,
I mean, they have Space Jam, but are they gonna put Michael Jordan in the game?
No, the LeBron. Maybe like Michael Jordan will be like a skin. I don't know. Legolas, which is great. Yeah. Gandalf. What's interesting, well, there's a lot of interesting. Ted Lasso.
No way. How is Ted Lasso part of it? That's an Apple.
I know it's on Apple. Someone explained, like, the licensing. They're like, yeah, it makes sense, because, like, this. I'm like...
No.
I don't know.
I disagree.
But he's been on, like, a lot of leaks. So Arya's in there. She was in the alpha. The Hound.
Okay.
And Daenerys. Daenerys is great. We expect that. I'm like, if you're picking a sword fighter from Game of Thrones, why the Hound? Like, why not Jon Snow or, like, Jaime? I mean, Jaime's maybe not kid-friendly, but... I mean... he's family-friendly.
What do you call it? So, some insider knowledge for, like, video games... No, I mean, I'm not sharing any whatever. But, like, from insider knowledge from video games, it's actually not that simple. Even though, like, they have the rights to the property... Right? That doesn't necessarily mean they have the rights to the likeness. So, like, if they wanted to put, Rob or Jon Snow in the game, there's probably some legal, negotiations, things that happen to get their likeness into the game. Granted, Arya Stark, looks like Maisie Williams, but it's not really Maisie Williams. But, like, I'm assuming, like... because it looks similar enough, like they would need to get those likenesses approved by their PR team or their teams in general. So that could be one of those sticking points. So like maybe the Hound was much easier to do.
Right.
And then like maybe they'll add Rob or Ned later, but they're probably still working on those legal terms.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing about being in the industry, and you deal with this way more. It's just like the loop, the hoops and ladders, whatever you need to go through, just for products and features to push through. But I don't know. Regardless, it'll be a cool game. The open beta, I think it's an open beta. It comes out in like July, so definitely looking forward to that. Let's go. And the last thing we've been playing is Rogue Company.
My game.
Yeah, Ralph's game, which. It's a shooter. It's a third-person shooter, which that was the only reason I even jumped aboard it. Yeah. Well, actually, since it's your game, I would have played it even if it was a first-person.
You played World of Tanks for a little.
True, for a little bit. But Rogue Company, like, I'm liking it a lot more than I thought it would. And that's not like that's just because I'm not a shooter.
No, I got you.
Yeah,
I mean, we play weekly, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, it's such a nice, Rogue Company Thursday. It's really just hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
Right? Throwing on a game, quick paced. You're just on voice comms, chilling. Just, yeah, it's a nice game to have in our rotation. Just to hang out and be social in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously I can't share much about the game because it's going to sound biased as regardless of what that's going to do. But I think one of the main things that I like about Rogue Company when we play it just feels good. It feels good as a shooter.
It's a free game too.
Yeah, so I think the dev team has put a lot of love and care to how the game plays and how it feels rewarding when you down an enemy. So I think that is one of the best things about Rogue Company is when the moment to moment gameplay is just fast and fun. So yeah, I'm not gonna speak too much about it. But
and kind of echoing Elden Ring, pushing the genre, doing stuff different. It's not just a team based third person shooter. It does have its own identity and stuff. I like how when you down enemy, that doesn't mean killing them. Their reviving your team is actually very beneficial. Wish more randos would revive you, but hey, what can you do?
Dude, the friend game.
I know, yeah. It's cool though. Again, it's free, so low barrier of entry.
Dude, you sound like such a shill right now.
I don't even work for the company. I'm just saying, it's a free game, so if you're into shooters, why not give it a shot?
Check it out.
Let us know. We've got a couple more slots in our party for some team deathmatch, so yeah, maybe we can play with our listeners.
people
who we already play with.
Hey Zach, are you there?
Yeah, Zach, help us. Cool. All right, so we're nearing on 30 minutes. We're doing all right on
That's
time.
not too bad.
So let's jump into the actual news while we're here.
Okay.
Let's get into it. So it's been Summer Game Fest. Which how long has Summer Game Fest been? Is this the first?
This is a hot take. I hate Summer Game Fest.
What do you mean you hate Summer?
I just hate it. There's just no focus.
Yeah. So generally, summer game season used to be E3.
Yeah.
Basically E3, and Sony dropped off E3, so they would have their own thing. Now Summer Game Fest is just this period of time where they're just, it's a general agreement there's gonna be these.
Yeah, there's just stuff that's happening and
it's not concentrated.
I wish Summer Game Fest was a week. And then it was just, hey, PlayStation is on Friday, Xbox is on Saturday, what do you call it? Devolver and Ubisoft are on Sunday, and then we have Nintendo on Monday.
Right. Yeah, the nice thing, and everyone does like to give E3 crap, but as, E3 is great, right? There's so much build-up and, hype for this one concentrated moment, whereas Summer Game Fest is yeah, it's summer, it's great. Across, this month or whatever, there's gonna be news. Which, I mean, news is always good. Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, E3 will be missed maybe next year. Who knows?
I don't know. I hope E3 comes back.
Yeah.
I think my main issue with Summer Game Fest is just that, it doesn't feel big.
Yeah, because it's not concentrated.
Right,
it's spread out. Sprinkled.
Because, obviously, all of the gaming companies want their own beats, and they want to make sure that they control the messaging. And I think that's what made E3 special or the ESA special, is because it was everyone is going to be here. If you want to be listened at, you need to be here. So, now you have, Sony dropping a press release, a week before, then Xbox does it a week after, and then Ubisoft does a week following that. It's kind of insane. And instead of, being excited, it feels like fatigue. You're just oh, I need to watch this, whatever. You know what I mean?
Fatigue is an interesting word. Maybe I'll feel that later on. But I mean, this was the first one.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So I don't know. We're doing okay so far.
I'm just jaded.
Yeah, you're jaded, man. The industry has made you jaded.
Oh no.
Okay, cool. So anyways, this was yesterday for us, but Thursday, June 2nd, Sony's State of Play aired. It was the latest one, and prior to this, they had said it's going to be more focused on PlayStation VR 2 and some third-party titles, which was that the third-party titles was mostly true. So I definitely had some expectations going into this, and in some areas, my expectations were met. In some ways, they were not met. But so we're going to go over everything, and then we'll just talk about it as we go through it.
Just go through the list, and we can talk about it.
Yeah. So, okay. First off, it started super strong. Resident Evil 4 is officially announced. There were like leaks, there were rumors, and I mean they already redid like 2, 3, so everyone knew it was
expected.
It was expected, but honestly, even though it was like expected, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I'm a Resident Evil fan. I've only played 4, but like I'm probably gonna play it again. Like it looks great.
Resident Evil 4 was a really good game.
Hot take.
Yeah. The one thing that I am excited for, and I'm curious to see how Sony got this deal, because Resident Evil 4 VR is coming out, like already came out for the Quest.
Right.
Yeah. So true. Like Resident Evil 4 Remake VR is coming on PSVR 2 as well. So
was that announced?
Yeah, it was announced after the presentation for 4.
Oh, on a separate thing.
And no, it was on the showcase.
I know they did 8.
No, they did 4. So 4 was before then.
Oh, I guess I missed it.
Yeah, so
cool.
So that was like interesting to me, because I was just like, oh, like how weird. How did they like finagle this way? That like they probably used some of the tech that they did for Oculus.
Yeah.
And just up-res the graphics to match the new engine.
Yeah, that's weird. So I never played the 4 VR on the Oculus. Is it the original game?
It's the entire game.
The original one.
The original one,
not the remake.
Not the remake.
Maybe that's where the legal lines.
Maybe, but it's just interesting because, like,
I see what you're saying.
Depending on when this drops, right? It's gonna be launching within a year of each other.
Yeah. Okay,
I could be wrong. Maybe that was a fucking fever dream, and I was just like, oh yeah, maybe they announced Resident Evil 4 VR, but I'm pretty sure they did.
We'll double check. Yeah. It wasn't on like the list of announcements, but I would be surprised they didn't have VR. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so what they did definitely announce was Resident Evil Village or 8 on PSVR 2.
Is it 8 or 7?
It's definitely not 7. 7's the one in the house.
Oh, yeah.
But it's never called Resident Evil 8. It's called Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
But VII.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah. That on PSVR 2. And I think it's just like it is the game in VR.
It looks good.
Which is cool, yeah. You know that there's going to be memes of like the
mommy.
The step on me vampire lady. So that's funny. But yeah, I don't really have an attachment to it. It was nominated for Game of the Year last year, which, I mean, last year was kind of light, but still a nominee for Game of the Year is still a nominee.
Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. So I'm so sorry.
I gave it to you too. I was like, sure, he's right.
I'm trying to keep myself honest here.
I appreciate it. Okay, next is the best piece of news from the State of Play. Street Fighter 6 gameplay. It wasn't announced, like they had announced, I think, like a month or two ago. But now we got like some more details about it. Street Fighter 6 gameplay trailer and a 2023 release window. Ralph he's got this dumb smile on his face, and I was like, nah, dude, not like this, not like
okay.
This. So why don't you like it?
It looks so bad. Like, I'm sure the game.
I actually think it looks good.
I'm sure the gameplay looks good. Like, I think Street
Fighter. Art direction?
Is it 6? So yeah,
6.
I think Street Fighter 5 looks better. Like, it's more artistic. It looks cleaner. It looks crisper. Like, I think one of my main issues is that Street Fighter 6 looks like Capcom's first foray into Unreal Engine. Like, yeah, like, it looks good because it's Unreal Engine, but, like, if you compare it to other, like, 3D looking assets, and you're on, I'm assuming it's on Unreal Engine 5?
I don't know.
I could be wrong. But, like, compared to what 3D assets look like now, it doesn't look as good. Okay,
so it's not fair to do, like, a one-to-one comparison, because it is a very unique and, like, I think it's like a stylized art direction.
Right.
Like, it's not going for like Horizon.
Right, of course. Yeah, no, right. I'm totally fine with that. I don't expect it to be Horizon, but like the moment I saw the gameplay, it went into my head, oh no, this is an open world game.
Yeah, okay, so
and I hate that.
So I really like that.
Why?
And I was reading some comments. Apparently that's like a callback to something in Street Fighter 3. Which I tried to get into the series at 4, so I don't really know anything about that. But what my thing with fighting games is, when I'm tired of getting my booty slapped online, I want to do something else in the game. And a lot of times, and especially in like Street Fighter, there's like, okay, there's this cheap arcade mode where you can, run the gauntlet of the fighters, or you can just play more online. And so this is a separate mode that you can just enjoy the game, do whatever. It seems like you can like create your own character and like run around, do whatever, play the game. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Yeah.
To put in a fighting game.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? When it comes out, maybe I'll be wrong, but I think usually when you try to hand fist a mechanic or a shift in the game, like putting it into open world, especially
I don't know how
like
open world it's gonna be.
It looks like an open world game. It looks like you're gonna be walking around, and then you're gonna do some missions, and then you're gonna run over here and fight this thug, and then run over there to fight 3 thugs, and then run over there to fight 10 thugs.
Yeah, it might be cool. Obviously, like Street Fighter has some work to do with like building rapport back with the player base, because like Street Fighter 5 was just such a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and like also Tekken already did this like
they did
years ago
6?
in 3.
Oh, 3, okay.
Yeah, like Tekken 3 had that like weird story mode where you like it was almost like a Diablo style like fighter.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, but what I do like with the art direction is like I think it definitely wasn't 4. I like didn't play 5 nearly as much. And they Ryu and Ken do this in Smash Bros. Too. There's like the calligraphy brush attacks.
Right.
Now they're like graffiti. Colorful graffiti, which I like. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, but it also like gives you the vibe like, oh, like how do you want to hang out with the youths?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's that meme of like Steve Buscemi or whatever with the skateboard.
Yeah, like I feel as though it's so hand-fisted. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like when it comes out, maybe it'll be good.
It wasn't even like, it didn't even give like any sort of month or like season.
So,
it's like 2023. So it's like,
right. Yeah. So like, I'm not going to put like,
there's going to be a lot of work.
I'm not going to hate on it completely, but like, I just don't like the idea of like putting this entire world, because making an open world is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I wonder how much of a concentration it will be.
So I don't know if those like that effort from the dev team is efficiently being used. Like that could be like another 10 characters. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm assuming there will be a battle pass where they release characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've wanted to like Street Fighter for such a long time. It just didn't happen with 5 for obvious reasons. 4 had like 4 different versions, so I'm like,
I love how you're like, yeah, for obvious reasons. The listener's like, yeah, I know Alex so well. That's why I hated 5.
I don't know. Yeah, give me just good netcode and give me like, don't make me pay extra for all the characters.
Remember when they added ads to Street Fighter?
It was there's literally everything that could go wrong with Street Fighter 5, like they did. Like if NFTs existed back then, they totally would have tried.
Yeah,
100%. All right,
anyways. Dude, don't even. I mean, it could still happen.
It still could happen. Yeah, who knows. Next is Horizon Call of the Mountain and Horizon Forbidden West update patch. That was kind of what I meant earlier about the third-party titles, because I'm pretty sure Guerrilla is
no, it's not third-party. Yeah, they're first-party for sure.
Yeah,
but it's a VR game. So remember, they said third-party and VR.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Horizon Call of the Mountain. I don't really have an attachment to the Horizon series, which is like blasphemous to then call myself a PlayStation fan. But I saw this trailer and then I'm like, okay, they really care about VR too.
Yeah.
Like they're really going to try to make it like...
It's really pretty.
Not even just like an accessory to the system, like a part of the PlayStation 5 experience.
But it's still connected. And I hate that.
I saw a comment saying, like, you saw how good Horizon Call of the Mountain looks. Like, that is why you need to be tethered.
Maybe.
And I can't, like, really comment on that. But I'm like, that's an interesting take.
Right. Call of the Mountain looks beautiful. I mean,
it looks
if they give me an option to untether my VR headset, for like not as like demanding games, I'm 100% in. But like that, like so listeners, like I have an Oculus Quest 2 and I'm 100% in. Like the ease of use of just putting it on, not setting it up is wonderful. And if you wanted to get more highly demanding games on your Oculus Quest, you can plug it into your PC. So like if we have that option for PSVR, I'm totally down because Call of the Mountain
great.
Call of the Mountain looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, like not even just like, because I think VR games kind of have a stigma like, okay, like this will be like a 5-hour max journey. This looks like a full-fledged like game.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't
like
think
10 hours?
Maybe 10 hours. I don't think it'll be
like Half-Life Alyx was pretty long, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would need to check with other Brendan for that. But I mean we don't really know. Like at least for any of the VR experiences that I've done, like I don't think they've ever like lasted longer than 5.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
Yeah. And then also the Horizon Forbidden West update patch, which that was actually really exciting to see because one of the, if not like the only like actual criticism of the game, are the like the graphical fidelity mode and the performance mode.
Yeah.
Just like not being great. So this one, I think it upped the cap for the fidelity mode to 40 frames per second, right? Opposed to 30.
Yeah, they optimized it a little bit more.
Yeah, which should be cool. I don't know. And then with the VRR option that the PS5 recently had, like that might make it even better.
Well, they also like increased like an increased difficulty mode. Like if you play that game on hard, it's pretty tough. So like it's gonna be a good time for people that want to play that New Game Plus. So
good replayability.
Yeah, I was thinking of jumping back in because that game is stunning. It's probably, maybe I'm shooting myself on the foot here, but like it's probably the best looking game out right now.
I think I would agree with
and it's
that.
an open world game, which is nuts.
Right. Cool. Callisto Protocol. It was announced and it had a December release date.
I literally saw that. I'm like, oh, is this Dead Space?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. This is the Dead Space remake that we've been hearing about, but it's not. It just looks like, it just looks like a mediocre sci-fi game, which has Cone's name written all over it. This is a Cone game through and through. If it's not that dumb racing game, if it's a dumb
Motorstorm?
Yeah, if it's not Motorstorm, and if it's a dumb sci-fi game, it's got Cone's name on it. I think this game is going to flop horribly.
You think so? I think it'll actually perform well.
It's releasing in December this year.
I mean, not the best.
There's a lot of competition.
It's not the best time window.
Right. When people are like Black Friday deals, like this is, if it was going to be a Black Friday deal, like maybe it would have been done fine, but this is coming out after that. So people are going to be playing those games. And then for the holiday, you know, whatever the kids are going to be into these days, it ain't going to be Callisto Protocol.
It's going to be Pogs, man.
Pogs, bring that. Another game that I don't know, I have no idea what I was gonna do is Stray, aka the cat simulator.
Stray looks cool.
It looks interesting. It's not my game.
I don't even like cats, but like Stray looks cool, dude.
Yeah, so basically like you're this cat and it's like Metal Gear Solid with
It's like
cats.
Post-apocalyptic. I don't really know what the gameplay is. It
looks
seems like a stealth game, yeah.
It's like stealth action.
But what was interesting to me is like, I don't know if you remember, but like when that trailer starts out, like the robots are scared of the cat. Like, I don't know why that was the case.
Some people are scared of cats. Yeah. I don't know.
But, I mean, it looks nice. Like,
it seems interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my game. It seemed like pretty chill, atmospheric.
Yeah.
So then that sort of, those genres, those like themes have their audience for sure. What's interesting is they also pushed the new subscription for PlayStation Plus.
Oh, did they?
Saying like, Stray will be available on the 2 higher tiers.
Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
Which I kind of like want a reason to opt into one of those.
So you don't want to try demos for 2 hours?
Yeah,
like for 2 hours?
Like, I don't know. But yeah, Stray, that ain't it for me. Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales
that's gonna sell so much. They're going to make so much money off that.
It's free money.
Yeah.
It literally is free money. And it's going to be even more gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, on, like, a powerful PC.
I mean, the PlayStation 5, Miles Morales looks stunning.
It does.
Yeah.
So. It does. On, like, a 3090, though, like, that's going to look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Man's Sky on PSVR 2.
I mean, it's been on Quest for, like, the longest time, so...
Oh, it's on Quest?
Yeah.
Well? Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously it was an announcement, so I want to include it. But
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Props to No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like when No Man's Sky initially was being released and they were talking about PSVR, everyone was so sure it was going to be on PSVR.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And it's so late, like to the game, like. It's been on it's been on Quest for like the longest time when you tether it on Steam.
Yeah, it still has updates though. Like I think last month there was like another No Man's Sky like update. So they're sticking with it. It has a dedicated fan base.
I think Sean Murray just has hate drive. He's like, you hate this game, just you watch. I'm gonna make this the best game ever.
Best game ever. Interesting. I mean,
it's a lot. Dude.
It's a
like,
lot.
If you're like, dude, if you like bought No Man's Sky, like. That's like 5 games. Yeah. They added so many updates to that game. Right. Like the players are asking them, hey, can you just stop and let us pay you? You know what I mean?
It's basically like the Final Fantasy 14 like Cinderella story where like it was absolutely terrible. Like everything they said it would be, it was the opposite, and then they turned it around and like people love it. So yeah, mad respect to them. For not being Anthem, for not just giving up on the game.
Dude, I wanted Anthem to succeed.
Yeah, Anthem. If they took notes from No Man's Sky, like, it could have been great.
Did you play Anthem?
No, of course not.
I played
Anthem. Because everyone... Yeah, you've told me about, like, how terrible it was, along with, like, the rest of the internet. But, yeah. The next announcement, The Walking Dead... This is a mouthful. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution, announced for PlayStation VR 2.
Do you want to play it on the Quest? I have it.
Oh, so it's like already out and stuff.
No, the first Chapter 1's out. Yeah. I think 2 is out too on the Quest. I'm not sure.
This just reminded me of what's that game where it's the zombie game where you're in the mall and you're
Oh, Dead Rising?
Yeah, it reminded me of Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like Dead Rising it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. VR would be even more fun. But next one, Season, A Letter to the Future, will be announced this fall. Speaking of like those atmospheric, chill vibe games, this is the one where like the girl was just like walking through like those fields, like Journey, basically. That's what it kind of looked like to me. I forgot about it.
Dude, I don't even know what it looks like in my brain. I watched the entire thing, so like...
Yeah, it looked like a cool game. It was just one of those like... You're chilling out playing a video game.
This next game on this list is so weird.
Eternites.
Like literally.
Announced and will release early next year.
Literally, I saw this game and then being in the games industry, like, how the hell did you get a slot on the Sony stage with this game? So I was so angry because I was like...
It's like an anime action game and they saw it as like a dating sim. Action game. So it's trying. I think it's trying to be like ride the coattails like Persona, but also like be action.
Right, but I was so angry because I was like, you couldn't give Rogue Company a slot on your stage.
Nope, Eternites.
But you gave Eternites.
Made by SAI.
Yeah,
or something. Like this dev. I looked at that. I'm like, is this NIS? Is this like Bandai? Because it seems it has Bandai Namco written all over it, right? But it's the developer I've never heard of, publishers haven't heard of either. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah, so like that better be exclusive because like I was like, man, you didn't give anyone else a slot. You gave this game a slot.
Their entire marketing budget was just spent to be on the PlayStation.
I don't think you can buy your way into the PlayStation stage.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems weird. This next game is probably going to be Game of the Year because it's made by Take-Two Interactive. It's called... the company I work for now. No, but all serious, Rollerdrome will release.
That was made by Take-Two.
It's made by the people who did Ollie Ollie World,
but it's published by Take-Two.
Take-Two, yeah, like one of like our studios.
That's interesting.
It's like honestly,
it's weird that we can just say, oh yeah, it's one of our studios. I'm like, oh man, it's weird that they didn't give my game a slot.
yeah. We last season of Professionally Casual Gamers, we wouldn't.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Lots changed in a year, but in a good way, I guess. This game, it seemed like a shooter mixed with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like even like one of the levels seemed like the warehouse in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I literally like listened to that one song. It's like, here I am doing everything I can, you know. Yeah, so
give him a record deal, everybody.
Cut him off. It seems interesting.
I don't like the art style, so as you
know.
It's
kind of a weird art style, not gonna lie. It's like cell shaded ish.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a game for me, but I feel like since, work for the company, I should at least try it. This one I'm unironically very excited for. Tunic will finally be launching on PS4 and PS5 this September. September is going to be, this fall and winter are going to be so stacked.
Dude, I really hope I get my Steam Deck soon, because there's a bunch of games I just want to upload onto that.
Yeah. So Tunic it's like a callback to like the 2D Zelda games, like Link to the Past. Except it's not like a cheap knockoff. It's some people like on IGN's GameScoop, I think like a couple of their like, Game of the Year. But it seems like very polished, not like copies of Zelda, like just callbacks.
It's an homage.
It's an homage.
It's better.
Right. Yeah. So it seems cool, and it's been getting pretty stellar reviews too. I think it was I don't know if it was exclusively on Xbox. It may have been on Steam as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, not on PlayStation, so happy to have that on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least is Final Fantasy 16.
I was so upset.
Story combat trailer, because it was initially announced, I think like last year or 2 years ago.
It was announced like 3 years ago. No way, it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe this is your memory failing you again. I don't know.
Dude, I'm old. I'm 30.
Summer 2023 release window. Before I get into it, so I mentioned earlier the war and whatever. So the executive producer, I think Yoshida-san, before he like went into the trailer, he talked about like, obviously like everything is crazy right now. This war, like it's hard for everyone. Yeah. We just want to continue to make games and provide a service for people. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
I feel like that should have like preceded all these other announcements, and then like they go into it. But yeah, it was.
I think so. One thing that's happening with the industry right now is like they're being very careful with anything that's happening, like related to war or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think because the themes of Final Fantasy VII is about war.
16
is about war, that he wanted to make a statement, hey, like there's this war, it sucks and it's terrible, we just want to make good games. And I think that's kind of the reasoning to why he made that statement.
That makes sense.
Yeah
it was cool to call that out. Always good to I always just love hearing any sort of communication from like those lead personas like for these projects. It makes it just feel more intimate.
Yeah,
in a sense. But yeah, per usual with all these like story Final Fantasy trailers, my thoughts are like, wow, this looks so cool, but I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Dude, I'm really into it. It almost it almost feels like Persona JoJo kind of deal. I feel like there's going to be protagonists in the games that are linked to the gods.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Like, I think, like, the main protag in the game is linked to Ifrit. Mm-hmm. And so, love it. I'm so excited.
It looks
100% in. It was interesting to me because there was sections in the games where, like, the gods would fight each other. It almost looked like a fighting game.
A little bit. There's, like, both the health bars.
Yeah, there are health bars up top. Yeah.
It looked weird.
Yeah, I think the game still looks really good. It's interesting to me that Western Studios has surpassed Japanese studios in visual fidelity. That's something that definitely like crossed my mind because when I was growing up, the main thing that you thought about was Final Fantasy, best looking games in the market. Like this, the only thing that like looks amazing, everything else looks garbage compared to Final Fantasy. And like, I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, oh man, like I remember back in the days when you saw a Final Fantasy game, that's like the pinnacle of where
especially
video games look like, right? And like now I'm just like, oh, this doesn't even look as good as Horizon.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good call out.
Yeah.
The combat looked really smooth though.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah,
dude.
The combat looked really clean.
Yeah.
I know, and there's always going to be the people in the comments like, hey,
where's my turn-based RPG?
Yeah, give me my turn-based, my random encounters. Like, while I do understand that sentiment, as long as it's not like brain dead, mashing the same button over and over, because we both play Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the reason we started this podcast.
Yeah, callbacks. Yeah,
that still felt it was very action oriented. The combat,
it's so hard,
and it was very tactical.
Yeah.
So if you can have a marriage of those two ideals, like that's perfect.
And the combat in this one looks like a better version of 7, which I'm super into already.
Yeah. So this will be a day one purchase.
Yeah, same here,
hands down. And it'll be exciting to talk about.
Yeah,
hopefully summer 2023 might get pushed back.
It's so far away.
Yeah,
that was the only thing that was upsetting about it. I was like, man, why is this so far away? It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, it might get pushed back. That's just like, so it's interesting because we see so many more delays and it's becoming more accepted, which I think is good. It's one good that we're accepting it. We're not like, raging over the internet. I mean, obviously there will always be people who do.
I mean, there's too many games out now.
Right,
that's just the reality of it, right? So like if something gets delayed, then you're just like, oh, good.
Okay, cool. I can play this then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a part of the work culture now that you have people working from home. You have maybe some people in the office. But hey, if these delays avoid crunch, and just like a better, healthier work style, then keep them coming. Yeah, keep the delays coming.
I do have to say, 2023 is going to be a nasty year.
Yeah,
there's going to be way too much to play in 2023.
Yeah,
because Starfield got delayed too, right?
It did, yeah, and like Redfall or whatever.
Redfall got delayed. Starfield got delayed.
Which are Xbox?
What do you call it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I believe like the next Spider-Man games are in 2023. Same thing with Wolverine.
Oh my god!
Like it's gonna be nutty.
That's true.
Not to
remake
mention,
too.
Yeah, we don't even know what PlayStation's doing.
Yeah. They said they have like 85% of their games are unannounced.
Yeah.
Which is so exciting to think about. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But even so, that was the end of the PlayStation State of Play. So, like I said, it met some expectations with the games. It definitely met my expectations. When they said they were going to talk a lot about PSVR 2,
you wanted more.
I thought we were going to get like a release window,
You're
price,
see a demo,
details of like the specs, and there wasn't. It was just like, hey, here's some games for PSVR 2. So no hardware stuff.
Right.
So that's where I feel like was a little misleading.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just misinterpreted it.
I think maybe I'm crazy, but I think this is like appetizer for a summer game fest for PlayStation. I think they're going to have one closer to August.
A nice bacon wrapped.
Right. I think they're going to have like in August, like another one. Because there's no first party. There has to be a first party State of Play.
That's a good call.
You know what I mean?
On my birthday in August.
So like there's probably like a God of War, maybe pricing for PSVR. PlayStation 5 Pro, like those are being like rumored right now, which is insane to me because I feel like I just got insane. Mine. Yeah.
Another showcase that seems very possible. Yeah, which would be cool. And then outside of that State of Play, there was some other fun announcements, just a part of the Summer Game Fest. We have Star Wars. I'm gonna do that one last, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. There's like a quick little cinematic trailer. Yeah. Looks so cool.
Looks good.
It looks awesome. I think they realized like, wow, this first one like I think it exceeded their expectations.
I played it on Game Pass. Did I show you how good it looks on the PC?
No, but I believe that
because remember
it didn't look great on PS4.
Because remember when we were playing on PS4, I'm like, oh man, what are these textures so? It looked
chuggy.
Yeah. So when I played it on PC, I was like, wow, this game looks great.
Yeah. So this next one, Jedi Survivor, it's gonna be awesome. Respawn did a great job with that. Sonic Frontier,
woo, game of the year, baby.
Oh my! So Ralph and I had this bet. So they released 2 trailers for Ralph just did like a butt shake.
My butt fell asleep. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. So there are 2 trailers that were released for this game. Like 1 or 2 days ago, there was just like a gameplay trailer, just like him running around the overworld, and I was like, okay, I'm down for this. I like Sonic. I like the movement and the exploration, whatever. And then then we made a bet. It was like just like a Starbucks bet. It was if it gets lower than a 7, I owe him a drink. 7 or higher, he owes me one.
On Metacritic.
Yeah, so 70. And I was feeling pretty confident about that. Then today, as of June 3rd, they released a combat trailer.
It's so bad.
And oh my god, like I want to love Sonic games so much just because like growing up with them, I've got a soft spot for the blue blur. This combat trailer is rough.
Yeah,
it looks so repetitive. It looks so antithesis to like the Sonic formula. It doesn't feel like a
but
Sonic
he can
game.
kick fast.
Yeah, he kicks, he punches. Like, where's the homing attack?
Yeah,
like, and then there's this stupid like cutscene where he does like this finishing move that doesn't finish them, and it's
gonna be so good.
And it's coming out this year, and oof.
Yeah, it sucks because I feel like they're like we're gonna try something new, we're gonna do something
it's
great.
Ambitious,
but like I looked at it like just the overworld, and even like it was the what do you call it? It wasn't even the gameplay trailer, it was just the overworld trailer, and I just looked at it, I'm like, this world feels super empty, and there's just random crap everywhere. There's no like
floating.
Yeah, there's no concept of how it like lives in the world organically. There's just random platforms, squiggly lines everywhere, and I like hated it. I was like, this is gonna be bad.
It's not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would honestly recommend just like watching that combat trailer and just being like,
let me try
this idea won.
Yeah.
Out of all the ideas, this is the one they voted on.
Literally, we were watching the combat trailer, and he was like fighting this like giant robot thing. And
it seems like a knockoff, like the Guardians.
Right. So you have to like climb up this robot, and I was like, you're gonna show Sonic failing to jump on top of this robot 4 times.
Yeah, the player in the trailer like tried to do it, and like glitched. Like the jump didn't complete, and then like he had to go back and do it again. It's like, why didn't you just cut that?
Yeah.
Like, why would you? Oh man.
IGN's just like, we gotta show it for what it is.
Which I guess we respect, right? Yeah, dude. Sonic games, they just make Sonic Adventure 3.
Yeah.
Just do it for Alex. But yeah, this last one, which given the title of the episode, I think it was earlier this week. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
It was June 2nd.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. A gameplay trailer and a not surprising release window of November. I think they said November 18th, 2022. They're usually pretty good about sticking to those dates. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think a lot of fans are cautiously optimistic.
Yep, I would say so.
But dude, Lechonk.
Lechonk, baby.
Lechonk is our hero.
Lechon, chunky boy.
Smoliv. Did you see that one too?
Yeah. I bet it knows Absorb.
I would not bet against that.
It's the first move it learns, Absorb.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, but these Pokemon seem really cool. The ones they showed at least. The legendaries look sick. I think they look sick.
I hate the blue one.
You hate... I thought the blue one looked better.
It has, like, rocket boosters.
In classic professionally casual moment, I have a strong opinion, and Ralph has the opposite opinion.
The blue one has rocket boosters.
I don't know if I saw that.
Why does it have rocket boosters?
I mean, Blastoise has cannons out of his shoulders. And that's cool.
Fuck, he's right.
Got him.
But I think the rocket boosters is just like a step too far for me.
I'll need to take a second look at it. They both look cool. And then like the gym, I guess there's 2 professors you get, and one of them just looks like the Giga Chad meme, which is hilarious with like the shave, the facial hair.
One thing that I do not like about the recent 2 generations of Pokemon is
Sword and Shield
and this new one.
Oh, Arceus?
No, not Arceus. Arceus doesn't count, but for mainline games, like with Sword and Shield and this upcoming Scarlet ones, the box legendaries are pretty much the same. Like their designs are the same, and that kind of like disappoints me a little bit, because if you think back to the other box legendaries, if you think about Johto, if you think about Hoenn, like you think of like Kyogre versus Groudon, you think about you think about the legendary birds, Lugia versus Ho-Oh, they are drastically different to how they're designed. And I feel like with these 2 legendaries, which is the Shield Dog, I forgot the name, like the Shield Dog and the Sword Dog.
Like Zamazenta.
Yeah, Zacian and Zamazenta, yeah. Like, I feel like they're being super risk averse to how their designs are, because they're essentially the same Pokemon.
That's a good point.
I don't like it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you called out the box legendaries, because then you have like Articuno,
Yeah.
Moltres, like those are obviously similar, and then,
Right.
like the dogs,
Yeah.
in Johto, but those aren't the box ones,
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
fair. Well, I guess Suicune is crystal, but
Yeah.
that doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they do look similar enough, and especially like black and white. Like those are literally just the same. But
no, black and white are different.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
they look super similar.
No, the black and white legendaries look very different from each other.
I need to take a second look then.
Yeah, it's Zekrom and I forgot the other one. The white one is the other one that I keep on forgetting. But yeah, they look really different. Like if you think of Palkia, Dialga, like all the box legendaries are very different. But like Zamazenta and Zacian are like the same. One holds a sword and the other one holds a shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm super excited about it. I think it looks better, but like it's just one of those things with the Pokemon community. I'm like, you make so much money and you can't hire a really good art team or like more people from the art team to just make this game look stunning. Mm-hmm. Like the Switch is capable. Like it doesn't need to be like the best looking game out there, but if you compare like other like open world games to it, like look at Mario, look at like Super Smash Brothers, look at even like Xenoblade Chronicles. Those games look good.
Yeah.
So like I don't understand why Pokemon doesn't have that same graphical fidelity, like level of polish that people are expecting for a game that makes billions of dollars every year.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer. That'd be great, right?
Yeah, they'll never
but what
hire
seems
me.
to be... So I do have a couple comments about this one. So this one seems to be leaning more into the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Which could be good or bad. That's because like I know people who like will probably be playing this. I'm looking forward to it. Like
we're gonna play together,
yeah,
baby.
We're gonna play together. Like that sounds great. But like for people who just want to like solo it, that's something that they just won't benefit from. But I wonder if it'll be a hindrance to their experience or if it's just something that
I think people
doesn't just subtract.
I think people are inflating the multiplayer of that game. And what I say by that is that I think they're just going to lean into a little bit more for the wild area. And I think that's just what it is. Where like you can play in the specific area with a couple of people. There might be some raid battles again. Because I think that was genuinely pretty successful.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, that's the raid battles in Sword and Shield.
Which they stole from Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that seemed like a beta for like
right. So like I think with like the play with your friends kind of deal, I don't think they will let you play through the mainline game together. I think there's just going to be spaces where you can hang out. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would like that decision. We'll see though in several months.
Bring back Pokemon gyms.
Yeah, right.
No, i.e. like back in Hoenn, you can make your own Pokemon gym and people can visit your secret base and fight you as a gym leader. In
Gen 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want that.
I do not remember that. What I do also want to say is that Ralph and I are basically like opposites for like Pokemon. Like you're like really into it,
super
like,
fan.
Yeah, you're a fanatic. You're a super fan, and I'm like very very like laid back about it. And I used to be in the camp with like basically everyone else. Where like everything's the same, like change Pokemon up, yada yada yada. And then they kind of did with Arceus, and I saw that I'm like, I don't want to play this.
Arceus is good. I think this is going to be closer to Arceus too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like a lot of people did like it, and that's fine. But I realized, like, that's not, like, what I want to play.
That's not what you want? Yeah.
I just, like, to me, Pokemon is, like, a vibe.
Yeah,
Pokemon like, is a mood, dude.
Shut off your brain, catch some cute things.
Yeah, like, you had a rough day at work, you had a long day, you're just going to chill on the couch, you're going to play some Pokemon.
Watch TV.
Yeah, essentially, right? Like, it's just a chill thing. So that's what I realized. So I'm gonna go back on my feelings of like wanting Pokemon to like forever change and all that. It's fine the way it is. Like these changes that they're doing with like the multiplayer areas, like that's awesome.
Yeah. Alex is like, change is scary.
Change is scary. That's why I keep Eevee the same.
Oh no!
Don't evolve him. So yeah, regardless of like whatever, like I'm in on Pokemon. Like I think it'll be fun. And then because it's got the first, second party Nintendo seal, you can sell it back for like $50 on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. So always a good time. But yeah, that's about it.
Woo! 30th episode, baby.
I know, 30th episode. A lot of good video game news.
Was this 2 hours?
No. I think we were just past 1. Yeah.
Nice.
One time we're hitting. Yeah.
Dude, we're still good at it.
Yeah, that was good. I remember our first episode.
It's 2 hours long.
It was like an hour, like 50 or something absurd, where we talked like for 40 minutes about Ghost of Tsushima. Good times. But yeah, there's a lot here, and looking forward to this again. Sweet. It'll be a good time. So thank you for sticking around for our 30th episode of Professionally Casual Gamers. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions, send it over on professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram/Twitter, which we never check, at Professionally Casual Gamers. See you next week, and keep it casual.
Woo!